Welcome to Not Starving Artists, the podcast. I'm your host, Brooke Benson, money coach and equity actor. I am your financial cheerleader, here to help you build your financial confidence and have power over your money. The best part, no budgeting or bi-weekly paychecks required. I went from being a broke BFA grad having weekly panic attacks about money to a financially confident, wealth-building actor and business owner. Money gets to feel fun, simple, and sexy, and I am going to show you how. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the podcast. Tax day is swiftly approaching, so we are going to talk about taxes today. We're going to talk about tax season, how to make tax season easier. We're going to talk about tactical things you can do in order to ease the burden, make things feel less stressful, and how to actually stop avoiding your taxes every single year. How to make this time feel like a non-issue, feel not like a monster under the bed. Now, I want to preface this conversation with the fact that I am not a CPA. I am not a certified personal accountant. I do not have any certifications in the tax realm, but as someone who, one, works with money every day and files taxes every single year herself, has a CPA, and pays a fuck ton in taxes, we are going to talk a lot about on the end of someone who, whether or not you have a CPA, you are going to be responsible for understanding your taxes and navigating them with ease. So we're going to talk about that side versus the nitty-gritty tax law. We're not going to get super into deductions today. We're not going to really get into that realm. We'll touch on it a little bit, but we're going to talk more about the day-to-day habits, routines, systems, mindsets to ease your tax season stress, as well as how to incorporate saving for taxes if you are a freelancer, if you are a small business owner, if you are someone who's getting paid outside of a W-2, how to be saving for taxes, your system to navigate not only your tax payment, but also how you navigate your bookkeeping. If you don't have a bookkeeper, your deductions. Even if you do have a bookkeeper, you are responsible for some of those things that you need to deliver to them. How to keep track of all that and not make it feel like such a big fucking thing, okay? Why we're talking about this is because I've heard a lot of people right now say that they are avoiding their taxes. I have clients right now who have been working through tax avoidance, and they have all happily filed. I am happy to say that everyone has things in the works. They are moving forward with their CPAs or on their own with filing. So I want to make sure that you have that too, that you are able to move forward out of your tax avoidance. And again, even if you've already filed your taxes, there's going to be stuff in here mindset-wise and future planning that are going to make things easier for next year. So stick around. Let's get into it. So the first thing I want to talk about is how fucking annoying taxes can be. And I want to talk about, I touched on this in an episode a while back, but the importance of separating the meta frustration and rage and anger and whatever you're feeling about the tax system in this country and what your taxes are going towards. And I was talking specifically to one client about this, that, when she was married, she got a bigger tax break because when you're married, you get certain tax benefits that people who are single don't get. That is infuriating. That is infuriating that there's a single tax in this country. So that frustration, that anger, it is okay to feel that. And let's not spiritually bypass that. Let's not ignore the fact that that's happening. You can hold space for that anger and that frustration. And there is a whole separate realm of you feeling confident in your ability to pay your tax bill. You feeling clean and clear when you hit submit payment on your estimated taxes. You feeling like tax time ain't no thing, right? Those are two separate things, and it is so important that we separate them, right? Especially when you are wanting to make more money in your business, increase your income as an artist, right? Or even just make more money if you're in a 9-to-5 and you want to be stepping up the tax bracket ladder. I don't want you to be afraid of making more money because you're afraid of paying more taxes or because you have such an aversion to paying taxes. As a way to feel a little bit cleaner and clearer in your personal realm paying taxes is in your brain, decide what your tax bill is going to. So for me, when I hit submit payment on my thousands of dollars of taxes every single quarter, I go, here you go, little library around the corner. Here you go, New York Library. And I can go into the library and I'm like, I bought all of these books. My tax bill just went to this library. It did not go to funding the war. It did not go to military spending. It did not go to anything else, right? Like, it went to my library. That is where it went. And that makes it easier. Like, that's a little bit of compartmentalization and a little bit of delusion. And it makes it so much easier for me to hit submit payment when I can look at my library and be like, that's where my bill went, right? And then in a separate arena, like when I am feeling rage against like societal structures in America, right? I can hold space to feel that rage and anger about our societal systems here in America. And none of that gets to seep into my personal, peaceful little money flow, right? I want to make sure that everything inside of my money life and my money management feels like a breath of fresh air. And taxes can be one of the stickiest pieces of that. So it's whatever you need to do in order to feel good hitting that submit tax button, right? Estimated taxes or your final tax bill, etc. So one of the other things that can get in the way of feeling peaceful and like calm during tax time is just the literal breakdown of systems that you may have, which can include like not saving for taxes throughout the year. As a business owner or a freelancer, if you're not putting aside 25% of your profit every single month or every single quarter, you're going to get hit with a big tax bill at tax time. And then it's going to be like, oh, fuck, how am I going to get this money? I have to spend so much in taxes. When really that's just a systems breakdown issue where you just haven't been putting it aside. Like the W-2 workers have it automatically taken out of their paychecks every 2 weeks or every month. You need to do that for your own profit, right? That's a systems thing that needs to happen so that tax time you get the tax bill and it's like, great, got that in the high yield savings account. Boom, hit submit payment, non-issue. So the other thing that can get in the way of this feeling like a peaceful time is the time it would take you to like gather your deductions, gather your receipts, make sure all of the forms are all where they need to be. Again, even if you have a CPA, that's still your job to like gather all these things to be able to send to them. So what I want you to start doing is implement tax organization into your monthly financial CEO party. So what that means is if you have a business and you are doing your own bookkeeping, for my business owners who do their own bookkeeping, there's a software called Wave that is one of my favorites. Again, not sponsored. It's just one that I use. It's a great accounting software for when you're still doing your own bookkeeping. There will come a time where you will need to hire that out. But this software, it allows you to write in your own deductions, your own expenses, your own income, attach receipts inside of them. So it's all online, like in even a more organized fashion than Google Drive. And so if every month you're updating that and you're collecting your receipts and thinking about, oh, you know, I did a speaking engagement or I got this gig that was over $600. That means I know a 1099 is going to be coming my way next year. Let me create a little checklist of all the 1099s I need to have an eye out for come January, February of next year. You can keep a running checklist. So again, spreading out the tax burden throughout the year versus putting it off to future you in February who's like, fuck, what am I doing? This is going to take so much time. Like I want to be out. It's getting warmer out. Like I don't want to be sitting here doing this. It's spreading out the tax burden. Add it to your financial CEO party checklist. Just doing a little bit of tax stuff every single month. Okay. So now I want to talk about the main reasons for avoidance. And I posted this on my Instagram stories the other day, and someone said that the reason they're avoiding it is because they were scared. Now, you are scared for one of two reasons, and you're avoiding it for one of two reasons. One, you are afraid of doing it wrong, right? Fucking it up. Or number two, you're afraid of what you're going to find, what you're going to discover, the amount you're going to owe, the amount you're not going to get back, something went wrong. Like you're afraid of what you're going to find. So I want to speak to the first one first, which is let's take going to jail off the table. Okay, I have literally worked with clients who have thousands of dollars in tax debt or like haven't filed for multiple years. They have like liens out. That has happened for my clients, and not a single one of them has had a warrant out for their arrest. Not a single one of them has gone to jail. So I just even want to put that out there of like, even if this isn't you, I'm knocking on wood for you, even if something goes wrong with your taxes and something horrible happens or there was a huge mistake or whatever, you're not going to jail. You're not going to jail, okay? Tax issues in jail comes from malicious intent, comes from embezzling, comes from like insider trading. Like all of that is then when you go to jail, when there's like malicious or insidious intent, right? Or like there's an arrest that happens when they think there's malicious intent. None of you all fall into that category, right? Unless you're embezzling, then maybe get off this podcast because this account is not for the embezzlers, all right? So let's take that off the table. So then the fear of like fucking it up and doing it wrong. When you're filing, I just want you to keep it simple if it's just you. So like, let's not go crazy with deductions. I think all the Instagram tax content has really gotten in everyone's heads of like, there should be all these things that I'm deducting. And if I'm not doing it, I'm doing it wrong. And I'm not. When it comes to tax strategy and tax savings and like navigating tax deductions, that really is only going to make a huge effect on your tax bill when you're at the multiple six, 7-figure level, like big businesses. Like let's say you're an S Corp, right? You're in the 7-figure level. Tax strategy is actually going to make a pretty big dent in your tax liability, right? The amount that you're going to owe. When you're playing in the realm of like under 6 figures, when it comes to deductions, it is going to have an effect on your taxes, but it's not the thing that you should be like so focused on claiming every single dollar and every single receipt. Focus on like, if you got headshots done that cost you $1,200, great, deduct that, right? For me, I have this office space inside of my expensive New York apartment. And so that's going to have an effect, like a pretty big impact on my tax liability, on my tax bill. So I'm going to claim my home office deduction. But when it comes to like every little meal, or like I go to CVS and get headshots printed because my stack ran out and it was like $3, like we don't need to be worrying about all of that. Also, all of the tax like strategies and deductions that you're seeing on Instagram, like you want to buy a Range Rover for your business. Okay. That kind of stuff, one, you want a CPA to help you. We're going to get to CPAs in a second. But when you're making those kinds of deductions, tax strategy, high level stuff, you're going to want an expert on your team, on your side, helping you navigate that. So the thought of, am I fucking this up, won't come into the picture because you have a tax expert helping you claim that, who is an expert in the tax law. That is literally their entire profession, is to know the tax law for your situation, your state, your business, your career, whatever. Okay. So I want to like remove again some of the thoughts of like, I'm doing this wrong because I'm not claiming enough, because I'm not taking advantage of the tax strategy. Okay. We're going to release some of that. So again, like don't go crazy with your deductions of like, is this allowed? Is this not? If you're having that thought, just like don't claim it. It's not that big of a deal, to give you the peace of mind of like, I'm not going to jail and I'm not going to get audited. Okay. The other thing I want to say on this is if you really have the thought, like, I'm going to fuck this up, I'm going to fuck this up because your taxes have gotten more complicated because you've moved states and you have multiple businesses, or like you have a W-2, but you also started a side hustle and now you're getting married. And so like their tax implications, if it's getting complicated, time to hire a CPA, time to hire a CPA. Time to hire someone to help you with your taxes so you can alleviate that anxiety of, I don't know what I'm doing, because when your taxes get that complicated, right, you probably don't know what you're doing because the tax law is complicated and changes every single year. And it is not your full-time job to understand the tax code and the tax law like it is someone whose profession is taxes. Even someone like me who works with money every single day, coaches on money every single day. My job is to understand money and understand taxes to a baseline level. I still couldn't even, I am just skimming the surface of the tax law over here. So that's what I'm saying. Like, we can go into the whole like dark side of like the IRS and the taxes and why we're in charge of doing it ourselves and all of that. But at the end of the day, if your taxes are so complicated that it makes you afraid you're going to fuck it up, it's time to hire. And let's just hire someone, right? Let's make that not an issue. So moving on to the second thing, which is you're scared because you're afraid of what you will find. You are afraid of what the number is that you will owe. You are afraid that you will not be getting a tax return. You are afraid of just like the finality of what you're going to see and what that's going to either require of you payment-wise or what that's going to make you feel. So what I want to say here is, if there is a monster under your bed, not looking will not change the fact that there is a monster under your bed. But more likely, it is just a pile of socks. More than likely, it is just a pile of shit that is under your bed that's terrifying you because you think it's a monster, but it's not actually a monster. And on the very slight off chance that it is a monster, she's there. She's lurking under your bed. You not looking is just like allowing her more time to figure out how she's going to eat you, right? I don't like where this analogy has gone, but you get the energy, right? Like when we are not looking, it's easy to just pretend that that will make it go away, but all that's doing is just prolonging you feeling the anxiety and the pain, right? Like, let's rip off the Band-Aid, but let's not even rip off the Band-Aid. I don't like that energy. I want you to feel like it is a gentle uncovering. I had a client who was avoiding her taxes, and we were talking about why she was feeling avoidant. And one of the things was, I'm really afraid of what I'm going to find, and I'm really afraid of how I'm going to pay the tax bill if it's a lot bigger than I expected. And so what we did was we split it into two separate money dates, right? Where the first money date is you're just going to find out the information. You're just going to discover the information. And then at a later money date, we're going to figure out how you're going to pay it, right? And then at a later money date, we're going to actually make the payment. So it's like, again, that slow uncovering of the information. So it's not like, okay, I'm a shock to my nervous system and now I have to pay it. And now I have to do all these things. That's what makes you avoid it, because it's like this huge mountain of stuff that you're afraid to face and figure out. Let's split it up, a slow uncovering. So the first thing I want you to do, again, if you've been avoiding your taxes, I want you to take the principles of the financial CEO party, which is making it fun, doing it in a place where your nervous system feels really relaxed and at ease, like taking your computer to your bed. I've been really enjoying listening to beach waves and seagulls in my ear from Apple Music while I'm like doing things that stress me out or that could make me feel really stressed. So that's something that's nice you could put in your ear. Pour yourself a glass of wine, make yourself a cocktail, make yourself your favorite latte. Like take yourself onto the balcony when it's really sunny out, or like go to your favorite coffee shop, go to a happy hour at a bougie downtown hotel where you have secure Wi-Fi, but like take yourself to a place where you feel excited or calm or peaceful. Put yourself in that environment before you bring taxes into play. I am urging you to not just tack it on to the end of your day where it's just like, fuck it, I'll just get it done. That is just going to reinforce in your body that taxes are stressful and you just want to get it done, and you're not actually going to, in the future, put time aside in place in your monthly financial CEO parties and like planning ahead because your body just doesn't want to handle it, right? Let's teach your body that taxes are no big deal, that they are a non-issue. So put yourself in a place where your nervous system feels calm, where you feel excited. And give yourself a treat that you can look forward to. Like when we would go to the dentist when we were younger and you would get that sticker or you would get to pick a toy out of the toy chest, right? And you get that fun toothbrush. That we have not grown past that, right? We still need little treats when you're so brave and you're doing the hard things, right? You're doing the things you didn't want to do, right? Even like if we even take this dentist appointment example, like one of the best things about going to the dentist or going to the doctor was that you got to skip out on a little bit of school, right? Can you even implement that into your taxes, right? I always put a full half day blocked off on my calendar to have a money date with my taxes. So I actually do take off work for half a day. It's not going to take me half a day, but it's like the fun principle of like, I get to go out of school to go do this thing that I don't really want to do, but then I'm also going to give myself a treat after, right? Like, let me take myself out to lunch, or like, I'm going to get the really fancy latte that I'm excited about rather than just like my normal drip coffee or whatever it is for you. Give yourself a little treat. Okay, so after you file, all of this is done. Tax season is over with for this year. I want you to have a little bit of a post-mortem at either your next financial CEO party, or you can make this a separate money date. I want you to have a post-mortem with you and your tax time of what fueled my stress. Let me think about why I was avoiding. What were the thoughts going on in my head? What was I afraid of? What was my tax bill? Did I expect it? Was I prepared for it? And I want you to start problem solving, right? For next year, right? So you're thinking about how can I avoid these stressors for next year? So one of the things, let's say you don't have cash in the bank to pay your tax bill. A couple of things could have happened. If you are in a W-2 job, there's something might be an issue with your withholdings, right? Like you've claimed too many things when you filled out your form on like what they were going to withhold for your taxes. So you actually ended up owing a lot more this year. So let's talk to your employer about switching some of those things so your tax burden is spread out throughout the year. If you are a small business owner, freelancer, and you pay estimated taxes, but you didn't pay any estimated taxes this year, so you were hit with this big bill, great thing for next year, every single month during your financial CEO party, you're going to put 25% of your profit into a reserve bucket called taxes. So that money is sitting there waiting for you each quarter for estimated taxes, or if you just say fuck estimated taxes and you pay it at the end of the year, you have it all ready for you at the end of the year. Let's say when you are filing, you were like feeling kind of off with your CPA. Your CPA wasn't getting back to you, or like all of a sudden they started throwing all these things at you that you didn't expect from them. And you're like, oh, my main stressor was I don't feel supported by my CPA. I feel more confused and I feel more stressed with this person. Great, time to find a new CPA. So get some sales calls on the calendar. Go research on Instagram, like the kind of CPA that you are looking for. If you're an online business owner, go find a CPA that is proficient in online businesses, that works with a lot of business owners. Find an accountant that works with actors in New York City, right? Like find your person. Get a couple of sales calls on the calendar so you can feel out who might be the right fit. Ask them about what's the onboarding process. Ask them about have they worked with people in your situation before. You can ask questions and do this now so that come February, you're not like, fuck, I need to find a new CPA and I don't know what to do. And you just like end up with some Joe Schmo that still had availability in his calendar, which probably means that he isn't that great, right? So start doing that process now of getting sales calls on the calendar and signing on with a new accountant and getting the onboarding process completed before tax time rolls around next year. Let's be a little proactive here. So thinking about where did the main stressors come from? Where did the avoidance come from? What was I prepared for and what wasn't I prepared for? And then figure out what are the things that you can do over the entire next 12 months. You have 12 months until next tax season. What can you implement now to make things easier, right? Do you need a Google Drive folder set up where you can just submit all of your receipts that you're taking pictures of throughout the year? Great. Like little things like that. We are solving these problems so that from this point forward, tax season doesn't sneak up on you and does not feel like a monster under your bed. And these are the things that I'm doing with my one-on-one clients inside of private coaching. We are walking together through tax season where if they don't have a CPA to support them, we're finding them a CPA that feels good, right? We are looking through different options to get sales calls on the calendar. We are also going through like processes. Where is the system breaking down for how you file? Where are your stressors coming from and how are we solving for them? Also doing a lot of demystifying about taxes, right? Like how the tax brackets work and how to save for taxes. What are estimated taxes? Like you're getting a full financial education, which includes taxes. And so you not only feel confident in your education about how taxes work on the baseline level, but then you also feel confident in your systems of how to navigate tax season with ease. And so because each person, each one of you is so individual and nuanced, all of these systems are going to look different. All of your avoidance blocks are going to look different. And so inside of one-on-one coaching, we are personalizing how you navigate money in your systems and in your mindset to each one of you. If you want to talk about one-on-one coaching with me, what that would look like for you, I want to hear about your goals, your struggles, your thoughts, and let's talk about what one-on-one coaching would look like for you. I offer sales calls. They are 50 minutes long, so we have lots of time to really get into it. You can book that. There is one in the show notes. There is one below. You can also find me on Instagram. If you're not following me on Instagram yet, go follow me at Not Starving Artist. You can also find the link to my sales call inside of my bio. And happy tax season, y'all. May it be easy, may it be stress-free, and may you be happily surprised by what you find. Thanks so much for tuning in. Come join me on Instagram for more on how to build a simple, sexy relationship with your money. My Instagram handle is @NotStarvingArtists. And if you want to dive deeper with me, head to the show notes to learn more about one-on-one coaching. If you love this episode, subscribe, leave a review, and share it with a friend that you want to get rich with.